So the first question that comes to everyone's mind is that will AI take our jobs?
If you are not smart enough to beat AI, then yes, AI may replace you.
Sir, how has the placement scenario evolved in IIIT Sri City over the years?
Placement is basically better as compared to last year. But yes, I will say that this year it has been a difficult job for us.
Why do you need attendance policy in college?
Okay.
Won't there be better placements if students are allowed to study on their own from YouTube and given more free time to pursue their own interests?
So yes, I don't believe in attendance policy anyway.
So you're a fan of Iron Man?
Yes, yes. Iron Man as well as Robert Downey. Both.
Okay,
Yeah.
nice. Hello, good afternoon, sir. We are really excited to host you on the Nirvana Talks. In this podcast today, we will be discussing a wide array of topics ranging from cybersecurity to AI and placements in IIIT Sri City. So, how are you feeling today, sir?
So first of all, thank you very much for
Thank
this
you, sir.
invitation, and I believe this is a great initiative taken by Nirvana Club. This ensures that the ongoing students they understand the faculties very well,
Hmm.
and not only the current students but the upcoming students.
Yes.
Let's say first year students who are going to come, they can understand the college well. They can get to know the faculties very well. What is their research domain?
Hmm.
What other than teaching part, what else they are doing?
Hmm.
So it's a great initiative in that sense. And yes, as you asked, I am feeling very well. Thank
Thank
you
you,
for
sir.
that. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. So I really believe that the students will have a very positive impact from this podcast. They'll be able to learn more about whatever domain they're interested in and build a much deeper connection with the faculty. So first of all, let's start with your personal journey into cybersecurity. But before I go into that, I would like to ask that what is the importance of cybersecurity in today's digital era?
So if you see, that's a very broad question actually. So if you see, nowadays from morning to evening, we are very well connected with the internet, uh, maybe via mobile phone or by our normal internet connection at home. So 24/7, I believe 365, we are connected to internet, and a lot of things are there. A lot of things are there over internet which can go wrong, which can be exploited by anyone else outside. We call them as hackers, right? So they can exploit the vulnerabilities in our systems, in our mobile phones. So what happens after these vulnerabilities? Once they are exploited, they can launch exceptional attacks, like more sophisticated attacks, which can affect our day to day life. If you take example of mobile phone, nowadays you might have heard about ransomware, right? In that case, what happens, they just encrypt everything, all data on your mobile phone, and then at the end they start asking for the ransom. In the same way, the same thing can happen with your laptops also, your devices nowadays, refrigerators, television sets, even air conditioners. All these are basically connected to internet, forming the internet of things. Now these devices, they are not basically they are not designed to be secure. They were designed for their own purposes. AC is manufactured just to bring,
Air cooling.
make things, bring this temperature down. Now, what happens? That the vendors, the manufacturers, they don't assume that okay, there will be one attack that will be that will be targeting
The DC.
our AC models and all. In the same way, the television manufacturers, they don't believe that someone is going to launch attack against the television set. But the thing is, these devices can be used to launch other attacks. They because they are not secure, they can be controlled by anyone else who is sitting somewhere else over the internet. They can control that, and then using those things, using those devices, they can launch the attack against the third party. So this is how everything is connected to internet, and that's why if they are not secure, we need to bring cyber security in our digital life to make things secure for us. So that is the importance of cyber security today.
Yes. So as we saw that cybersecurity is a very vast field. So can you please share your personal journey through the world of cybersecurity and research?
Okay, so this goes back to my B.Tech days when I was in second year, like you people. So I was in second year at that time, and so we had a workshop. I think in third semester, I believe. So we had a workshop, and I didn't know anything about this cyber security or anything. I was just knowing that okay, computers are there. We code on them. We usually at that time we used to write codes in C or C++. And then so after this training, what happened during this training? The trainers, they provided us some uh, some study material and how we can launch different attacks, how different attacks work, all these things starting from phishing, simple phishing attacks, and how we can install trojans on different computers, how we can use trojans to control the other computer. So all these things were very fascinating for me. I found that okay, this is it's like something out of the world, how we
Yes.
can do different things from this, and so this is how my awareness, basically I started working on this. I started reading things over internet. I started watching YouTube videos, all those things. A lot of material were there. Anyway, it is still there. But so this is how I started, and then after that, when I came to third year, final year, basically at that time I thought, okay, instead of going for placements, what I will do, I will go for higher studies. So basically, after that, what happened? When I joined MTech during my masters, what I did, I started. So my specialization was information security, master of technology in information technology with specialization in cyber security. So at that time, I was very much interested. I used to launch a lot of attacks. It was, of course, unethical. I used to do all those things. But this almost it is not 10 or 12 years. So I am into this domain. And so this is how my journey started in cybersecurity. And we had a few courses on cybersecurity. Faculties used to ask, okay, how many of you have already used Wireshark to capture traffic and all. To my surprise, I was the only one in the class who has done all these things. My friends, other students, they were more inclined towards AI and machine learning. But somehow I didn't like artificial intelligence. I never liked it actually. I don't know what was the reason, but this was the case. And I was just completely involved into cybersecurity. And then when I reached second year, at that time I was appearing for placements, and one of the HRs, she mentioned that okay, what was your project, all those things. So everything starting from my B.Tech third year to MTech first year, everything was related to information security in one way or the other. So she mentioned that anyway, the job that we will be offering anyway, that is not at all related to information security. That is basically software development track only. So what I will suggest personally, that you should go for higher studies instead of joining our organization if we offer you. It is not like they offered me the job, but this was her basically feedback. So after that, then I decided, okay, I will not appear for any other drive now. I will just try for higher studies. So I started applying for PhD and all. So I was looking for positions abroad, outside India. I was looking for positions within India. Then this is how I ended up in IIT Indore, and my supervisor, PhD supervisor, his interest was also in for information security. So he was also very much interested in these things. He had a lot of practical experience in that. So then after that, I started working on this. And now the thing is, when you want to work only on attack part, no one is going to entertain your research because it is actually unethical. So you have to work on the mitigation approaches as well. So if you are trying to find one attack, if you are trying to find a vulnerability somewhere, then for that you need to propose appropriate different defense solution as well. Otherwise, if you are trying to publish a paper based on attack itself, it's a bit difficult. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's a bit difficult. So that's why I started working on defense approaches also. And this is how basically I started. And then at the end, after my PhD, I thought, okay, I will try to look for some opportunities outside India. And then I moved to Germany, and then I started working as a cybersecurity researcher in one of the research organizations in Frankfurt and Darmstadt, basically. And so this is my overall journey till now. And then after that, of course, I ended up here. I'm right now here, and again, my research domain is the same. My PhD students, they're also working in the same domain. If not security, then networks. So my whole research is basically it is relying on internet and the security part.
Yes. It is really an exciting journey indeed. Sir, can you recall any of the fun experiences that you had while like some launching some attack, or what was the most fun thing that you can recall? related to.
Yeah. So actually, a lot of such incidents are there. I can recall one. We were having so me and my friends during the MTech first year, we were having discussion that they were saying that okay, maybe after 2, 3 years down the line, 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, everyone will be working on machine learning and artificial intelligence. It will be everywhere. Now this is the case anyway. Then I said yes, but information security is also very important field, and one should work in this because in India at least we have less number of
True.
people working in this domain. So what happened at that time? We have one course on I'm forgetting the exact name. I think it was system security. So in that, our professor asked us to create a presentation. So we were given, I think, 1 week time, and he said that presentation will be evaluated, and we will give some marks to the presentation. So then after that, he mentioned that okay, if you show me a real attack that you have launched in the network, then I will give full marks. So I said okay, then so I have already worked on phishing and all, man in the middle attacks. I have already worked on them, ARP poisoning and all. So what I did, I just launched the ARP poisoning, and basically there is one way to simply capture the complete traffic using ARP poisoning. You get man in the middle position, you capture everything, you capture all the username passwords. This is only the condition is you are not using HTTPS. You can capture the cookie and all. So at that time, Facebook was not having this mechanism of HTTPS. So it is like if your internet connection is not stable or there was some issues with that, it downgrades to HTTP. And if it is HTTP, then anyone in the network can capture the traffic. So this is what I did after launching the after getting the man in the middle position. I can see the cookies, and those cookies can be set into your browser. As soon as you set the cookies in the browser, you go to facebook.com and you refresh. You can see the directly account of that person. So this I created the complete video, and I demonstrated that I played that video in the class, and then I got full marks basically. So this is one of the incidents, and then my friend in the just in the room next to me, he said that I will not use the college Wi-Fi again. I will just use my own mobile phone for internet and all. So that was a funny experience, and this is one of the experiences that I remember. So yeah,
That is
th-
really awesome.
yeah.
Sir, as we students currently we are doing courses like full stack development, and students will be coming to our college, they will be also be learning. Currently, we see that web development is in a very high demand. So, what advice will you give to the developers who are developing any kind of application? What security aspects should they keep in mind while coding their application?
So yes, so nowadays we have a list of vulnerabilities which exist in web applications particularly. For example, we have OWASP top 10 vulnerabilities. So it is basically, they list out the top 10 vulnerabilities that are possible in the web applications. And you need to ensure that these vulnerabilities do not exist in your web application. So for that, to test them, again, we have some tools like DVWA, Damn Vulnerable Web Application, that you can test out to identify how different attacks work and what is the vulnerability these attacks target. And then you try to mitigate those vulnerabilities in your web application. So if that vulnerability does not exist in your web application, you will not be like no one will be able to launch the attack against your web application. So this is the first step. They can refer to these DVWA web scanners, and then OWASP database top 10 vulnerabilities. So all these things can be referred to make sure the overall web application is like safe. So this
So
is the
for
thing.
the audience, I would like to say that whatever topics or whatever sites sir is mentioning, we will be putting them down in the description, so you can definitely check them out and explore. Sir, so if someone, if a student discovers some new vulnerability or something, so what is the ethical process of disclosure and what steps should be followed to mitigate that?
So, depending on the vulnerability that you find or the system in which you have found the vulnerability, the procedure can be different, but it is essential to reveal these vulnerabilities to the vendor before making it public. So, for example, let's say tomorrow you find a vulnerability in the local area network of our institute. It's your ethical responsibility to inform the network administrators that okay, something is going wrong. This can be targeted. So something like this, you need to first inform to the network administrators. So in the same way, we have something known as a MITRE database where all the vulnerabilities are listed along with the one CVE number. CVE is basically your common vulnerabilities and exposures. So this CVE number is given to the vulnerabilities which are there in different systems. Now you need to submit, you need to inform them, okay, this is the vulnerability that you have found out. But before that, what you need to do, you need to talk to the vendors. Let's say tomorrow you are trying to hack a Dell this firewall. Okay. Now what happens? Let's say you find a vulnerability in that. So what you need to do is you need to first inform the Dell itself. Instead of just uh, posting this vulnerability over the internet, you need to inform them. Then they accept that okay, this was the vulnerability, and then after that, what you can do, you can inform the MITRE database you so that they can provide you one CVE number for this vulnerability that you found out. So this vulnerability is later then mentioned in the database, that MITRE database, and as I mentioned, the CVE number is known as common vulnerability and exposures. So after that, what happens? They ask you that okay, what is the source of this vulnerability? Is it present somewhere over the internet? So what you can do on your home page, you can you can add one document mentioning the overall vulnerability, how it can be exploited, and all these things you can mention there. And then anyway, now since you have already informed the Dell will take care of that. They will make sure that proper patch is released so that this vulnerability can be fixed. After that, what happens, even if you make this public, you inform this to MITRE, you get the CV number, then also it is not a problem for Dell, right? Because they have already patched it, and even if someone is trying to target the same vulnerability, they cannot do that. So yes, it is very important. As soon as you find a vulnerability, you start working on that. Okay, instead of informing that, so this is the trend. Sometimes it usually happens, like over dark internet. If you find a vulnerability, if hackers find a vulnerability, they try to sell it. They will get some money, of course. They try to sell this, and then others, they can simply use that. They can target that. Okay, so these things should not work. It is unethical, of course. Instead of that, you should take the full responsibility, and you need to inform the vendor that this is the problem in your product, and you have to fix it. Then after that, you can go for getting the CVE number.
Sure.
And why is CVE number important? Basically, just you can tell that okay, you are the one who found this vulnerability, and CVE is assigned to this vulnerability that is basically discovered by you. So that is the thing. Okay,
Sure.
first inform the vendor and then get the CVE
number.
number. Yeah.
Sir, can you tell like what roadmap should a new student follow? So if someone is interested in pursuing higher studies in the field of cybersecurity, or interested, just simply interested, UG1 student coming in, what resources they can use to improve their knowledge and get into the field?
So first thing I will come to first, what is needed. So very important, basics must be very clear. Okay. Unlike India, this is what I have observed. It may, the personal opinions may vary, but this is what I have observed when I was here, when I was in Germany. So there, what they do, they focus more on the basic parts. They are not going to ask you some random stuff. Basically, let's say you have worked on a project here during your B.Tech, and now you are going for masters, right? So they will ask during the interview. There are high chances that they will ask questions. If they ask based on your this project, they will not worry about what things you know, what things you don't know, right? So this is how things are different in India as well as outside. So if someone is, let's say, interested for higher studies, what he need to do, he or she need to make sure that okay, I need to first cover up my basics. I need to understand what things are there, how if we take the example of computer science, what are the core courses in computer science, how things actually work, how things can go wrong if in case of cybersecurity. So this is the most important thing that is to be needed. And other than that, if we talk about the material or the where they can take, where they can study things, so of course internet is a good source. A lot of things are there. There is no limit of that, right? We have got a good limit. But only thing is that it is important to find out which source is genuine. Sometimes it happens that students watch random stuff on YouTube, and they get to know that okay, this is how things work, but that is not the case. So again, as I say in class, studying books, your textbooks are very important. Nothing can replace that. Okay, that is the best part. This provides you the freedom to understand by your own. Okay, instead of someone else influencing you, you can read the text, you can understand them, and then you can try to find out, you try to draft questions, and then find the solution to those questions maybe over online. But this is how you need to start. You need to first start from the textbook,
Hmm.
and then so I think I answer your question in
Yes,
that
sir.
case.
So
Okay.
basically, the conclusion for the students is that always we need to dig deep into the
Yes,
fundamentals
yes, yeah,
and definitely read the textbook. That's the
yes,
most
exactly,
important
yeah.
thing. Yes. Sir, can you please share about your personal research that you're currently doing in terms of cybersecurity and finding different
Mhm.
vulnerabilities?
So, like right now, since last few
Hmm.
years, I work on finding vulnerabilities in the application layer protocols
Hmm.
like HTTP,
Hmm.
SMTP.
Hmm.
Nowadays, IoT protocols are there, MQTT,
Hmm.
AMQP, all these protocols are there. So, what we are doing, my group is doing, we are trying to find out vulnerabilities in them.
Hmm.
And once we find vulnerability, we try to find out, like, let's say we find a vulnerability in MQTT.
Hmm.
This is one protocol
Hmm.
basically.
Hmm.
We try to find out how many systems over the world are using
Hmm.
this protocol.
Hmm.
So it is like finding the attack surface.
Hmm. Hmm.
If let's say only one computer is using, then
Hmm.
of course the attack is not
Hmm.
like it is not
Hmm.
a big attack.
Significant. Yes.
So for that, you need to find out how many computers are using this protocol for
Hmm.
the communication. If they are using this protocol, then find the vulnerabilities. So this is
Hmm.
one thing. Second, I'm just now last year, one of my PhD students, she started working on the future generation internet architecture, where we try to work on one approach. The name is basically NDN, Name Data Network,
Hmm.
which is the future internet architecture.
Hmm.
It tries to mitigate all the problems which are there in the current TCP/IP internet architecture.
Hmm.
So these are the two things
Hmm.
which are my current research
Hmm.
domain.
Thank you so much, sir, for the deep
Mhm.
and insightful answer on how students can approach the field of cybersecurity and your current research areas. I'm definitely sure that students who are coming to our college, they would really feel inspired by
Mhm.
so many amazing topics, and they would definitely explore these topics. So now moving on to the hot portion of today's podcast, that is
Mhm.
regarding the placement trends of IIIT Sri City.
Mhm.
So the first question that comes to everyone's mind is that will AI take our jobs? As you're seeing that whatever assignments we are having, obviously ChatGPT hallucinates a lot, but still it
Mhm.
is to a great extent able to solve lot of questions and problems. So what is your take on the job market with AI?
So, as I mentioned, so I don't like AI. Earlier,
Huh.
I mentioned that, but yes, that is true. Nowadays, people started saying that
Hmm.
AI can
Hmm.
replace our job,
Hmm.
but I tend to disagree
Hmm.
because AI can help us
Hmm.
in
Hmm.
our jobs,
Hmm.
but it cannot replace us. So
Hmm.
it is like it will complement us, but it
Hmm.
will not replace us.
Hmm.
So in the sense, like you talk about
Hmm.
if you want to work on assignments,
Hmm.
so of course
Hmm.
it can help you out with
Hmm.
that. That is fine.
Hmm.
But when it comes to intuition, that is a difficult
Hmm.
thing right now for artificial intelligence.
Hmm.
For example, the best example is like automotive cars right now.
Hmm.
So smart vehicles, what happens? They have their own limitations.
Hmm.
They cannot replace a human driver,
Hmm. Hmm.
because the thing is, you don't understand the outside environment.
Hmm.
It completely, it depends on where you are right now.
Hmm. Hmm.
So it is like it is difficult in India
Hmm. Hmm.
to
Obviously.
basically drive
Hmm.
to
Huh.
have a smart car
Hmm.
which does not need
Hmm.
any driver. That is almost impossible, I think.
Hmm.
So yes, AI cannot replace us, but then yes, it will
Sure.
complement us. It will help us anyway.
Sure, sure.
Yeah.
And definitely, I believe, personally believe that some of the manual jobs will not be automated through AI, and some
Yes,
section of
yes.
the jobs may
Yeah.
be affected due
Yeah,
to this
exactly.
kind of things.
So, like you mentioned, yes, I agree with that. So, like content creation is one
Hmm.
field that is
Hmm.
in danger, I
Hmm.
believe.
Hmm.
So, there, what again, intuition
Uh,
comes there as
hmm.
well.
Hmm. Hmm.
So, humans are anyway much smarter
Hmm.
than AI at this
Hmm.
point of time, at
Hmm.
least. But yes, you can generate a lot of
Hmm.
excellent content on
Hmm.
ChatGPT.
Hmm.
So, for these things are
Hmm.
making life easier.
Hmm. Hmm. True.
So, it can we can say that somehow, for in some cases, AI can replace
Hmm.
a human who is writing some normal
Hmm.
content creation.
Hmm.
If you are
Hmm.
not smart enough to
Hmm.
beat
Hmm.
AI,
Hmm.
then yes, AI may replace you. That is the
True.
thing. Yeah.
Sir, how has the placement scenario evolved in IIIT CCT over the years? And what are the current statistics or rough what's happening currently?
So yeah, current batch anyway placements are going on.
Hmm.
So anyway, stats are not final as of
Hmm.
now.
Hmm.
But yes, like last year and
Hmm.
last year, we saw significant increase in
Hmm.
the overall CTC as well.
Hmm.
We saw significant increase in the number of students getting placed as
Hmm.
well.
Hmm.
So in that sense, the overall placement is basically better as compared to last year. Last year it was better.
Hmm.
This year it's still going on, but yes, I will say that this year it has been a difficult job for us.
Hmm.
It was difficult, to bring companies.
Hmm.
A lot of issues were
Hmm.
there.
Hmm.
I'm not sure if there was any recession or anything,
Hmm.
but yes, companies were quite choosy this time.
Hmm.
They, if they are, let's say, last year or last to last year, they were
Hmm.
coming and recruiting 3 or 4 students. This
Hmm.
time they are coming just to recruit only one student.
Hmm.
So this has become one challenge. At
Hmm.
least this year it was
Hmm.
difficult,
Hmm.
but still, I believe we are doing well.
Hmm.
So let's wait for the final,
Yes.
conclusion of the placement season this year, and then we will see how things went overall. Yeah.
So basically, sir, what is the current process of placements in IIIT Sri City?
Mhm.
What protocol is followed? Like from which UG students will get the exams, and
Mhm.
what is the process? Can you elaborate on?
So yeah, so basically what happens first is, coming from the placement part,
Hmm.
placement cell, what it does. It first starts with the creation of placement brochure and all.
Hmm.
So, like for third year batch,
Hmm.
the ongoing third year batch.
Hmm.
So we have already started the creation of placement brochure.
Hmm.
Then, along with that, there is one document known as JNF, Job
Hmm.
Notification Form.
Hmm.
So, along with the placement brochure and job notification
Hmm.
form, this is shared throughout all our connections.
Hmm.
And coming to the connection part, how do we get these connections? So,
Hmm.
basically, the companies
Hmm.
which has already hired from our institute,
Hmm.
or the companies where our alumni are working.
Hmm.
And then third, we have some platforms over
Hmm.
internet
Hmm.
which provide you the leads. Of course,
Hmm.
those are paid ones,
Hmm.
but and we pay for them, and then they provide us the details of HRs and all
Hmm.
those things. So we collect the complete database of companies,
Hmm.
the point of contact there,
Hmm.
HRs basically.
Hmm.
And then what happens? We send the invitation email to
Hmm.
them.
Hmm.
Basically, the draft email saying
Hmm.
that okay, this is everything about IIIT
Hmm.
Sri
Hmm.
City. We have students, CS,
Hmm.
EC, and then how these students are selected, all these things. And then along with that, we share basically a placement brochure and the job notification
Hmm.
form. And then after that, we expect them to reply back saying if they are having any vacancy, they
Hmm.
said, okay, we are looking for these many candidates,
Hmm.
and we are sending back you the job notification form.
Hmm.
So JNF is like your job description
Hmm.
only. It is like the role that is going to be offered, the overall CTC that is going to be
Hmm.
offered, whether it is only internship or it is only FT, full-time
Hmm.
employment, or it is both.
Hmm.
So these things are mentioned in that, and then based on that, we create one expression of interest.
Hmm.
This expression of interest is
Hmm.
forwarded to the students.
Hmm.
So all the registered students, placement registered
Hmm.
students, what they do, they fill the form,
Hmm.
the expression of interest form,
Hmm.
and then we get to know, okay, for this role, for this company, these
Hmm.
many students are interested.
Hmm.
Then we share that data with the company,
Hmm.
and then after that, company starts the hiring process.
Hmm.
First step is like online assessment,
Hmm.
basically a test sort
Hmm.
of thing, online test.
Hmm.
And then after that, a few rounds of interview,
Hmm.
technical round,
Hmm.
HR round, cultural round,
Hmm.
managerial round.
Hmm.
All these things are there. And then after that, depending on acceptance or rejection, they inform us, okay, these many students we are hiring.
Hmm.
And then we inform the same to the student.
Hmm.
And then we ask the student to show their
Hmm.
response to that, whether they are interested or not
Hmm.
interested. So this is how we proceed ahead.
So this was a really nice overview of the placement side of things. But from the student perspective, like
Mhm.
if someone wants to register for the placement, what is the process? Is there any cutoff in terms of the CGPA, or what requirements are there to sit for the placements, and from what time it starts this
Mhm.
placement
So
procedure?
basically, like as I mentioned, we are in the process of finalizing the placement brochure and
Hmm.
all. So it usually starts in May or June, probably.
Hmm.
So first, what happens is we share one form with the students
Hmm.
to check whether they are interested in the placements or
Hmm.
not, and then they register for the placements.
Hmm.
Because sometimes what happens, let's say a batch of 330 students are there.
Hmm.
The
Hmm.
batch is of 330 students,
Hmm.
out of which a few students, they have already decided that they will go for higher
Hmm.
studies.
Hmm.
So they won't register for the placement. So
Hmm.
in that case, they can't appear for the drives.
Hmm.
But all those who want to appear for the drives, who
Hmm.
want to go for
Hmm.
placements, they register there. And this is how we get the list of all the interested students,
Hmm.
and then we take them forward on the
Hmm.
placement season.
True. So, sir, how does the college, like our college, Stability Sri City, prepare students for the placements? And we are seeing so many economic fluctuations, so and recessions are there. So, how does a student become foolproof and get prepared for these placements?
So somehow, when we started this
Hmm.
placement season,
Hmm.
This was we were informed that this time the market will not do
Hmm.
good.
Hmm.
So we were assuming this, and we already informed the students that just make sure you are well prepared.
Hmm.
Otherwise, things will not
Hmm.
be good enough for
Hmm.
you.
Hmm.
So somehow they were preparing well. And what we also do, we do this some sort of training programs.
Hmm. Hmm.
So when the placement season starts,
Hmm.
we conduct one test
Hmm.
to identify, okay, in which domains the students were not doing good, in
Hmm.
which domains the students are doing good.
Hmm.
And so based on that, we try to find out those list of topics
Hmm. Hmm.
which for which they need training.
Hmm. Hmm.
And then we hire a few trainers.
Hmm.
We ask a third party company
Hmm.
to train those students, registered students,
Hmm.
on these topics.
Hmm.
So they train them so that they can be
Hmm.
they can get ready for the placement
Hmm.
season. And this is how we proceed ahead to make sure that, okay, they are now well
Hmm.
prepared and they can attend the interviews.
Hmm.
This is one thing. Second, we keep on updating the our database. So
Hmm.
let's say we sometimes ask our alumni, who are working in one particular organization. Let's say
Hmm.
we request them if they can come and they can come and discuss with their juniors, the
Hmm.
final year batch,
Hmm.
to tell, okay, this is how things are going on in the company. Chances are that they will ask questions based on this, or what happened last year,
Hmm. Hmm.
what questions did they ask last year.
Hmm.
So this helps us understand what how things will go.
Hmm.
For example, one of our alumni in Nvidia, we asked her, and she was very happy to
Hmm.
help our current batch.
Hmm.
And we had an interaction, and she helped a lot all these
Hmm.
students, basically what questions can be asked,
Hmm.
and what is going on in the
Hmm.
company, what
Hmm.
products are being developed, and based on that, how questions can arise. So this is how we try to proceed ahead.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sir, can you throw some light on the differences between the life in academia versus the life in industry? So sometimes
Mhm.
students get confused that whether should I opt for placements and go to a job line, or should I opt for higher studies? So how can someone decide between these two fields basically?
So I think it's a simple.
Hmm.
This is a simple answer actually to this question. I think everyone will
Hmm.
agree to this.
Hmm.
So industry life is a bit hectic, I
Hmm.
believe,
Hmm.
as compared to the academic life.
Hmm.
And here we work on problems that we create ourselves. So
Hmm.
it is like we talk about research problem.
Hmm.
Okay, you are free to find your own research
Hmm.
problem. You try
Hmm.
to work on that. You try to
Hmm.
find solution to that.
Hmm.
But in industry, it does not work like this. So you
Hmm.
need to get aligned with the interest of the
Hmm.
organization in which you are working.
Hmm. Hmm.
So let's say they are working on a product X. So
Hmm.
you need to make sure that you need to refine that product
Hmm.
X. You need to
Hmm.
work towards that.
Hmm.
So in that case, I believe academic life
Hmm.
is different from industry
Hmm.
life.
Hmm.
But yes, other thing is when it comes to money. Of
Hmm.
course, industry life,
Hmm.
industry pays more as compared to
Hmm.
academia. That
Hmm.
is well known thing.
Hmm.
So I think this is the main
Hmm.
difference between industry
Hmm.
life and academic
Hmm.
life. And other thing is, there are no such deadlines in
Hmm.
academia.
Hmm.
Of course, if you want to submit a paper,
Hmm.
let's say deadline is today, so today
Hmm.
will be the
Yes.
deadline. But that is not very, hard and fast. If
Hmm.
you miss one deadline for the
Hmm.
one conference, you
Hmm.
can submit your paper to other
Hmm.
conference.
Hmm.
But in industry, it's very difficult. If
Hmm.
you miss a deadline, then
Hmm.
that is a problem for you,
Hmm.
because you need to release your products, you need to release the
Hmm.
softwares, their
Hmm.
versions, and so you cannot simply miss the deadline. So
True.
that is another thing. Deadline
True.
is one main difference between industry and
True.
academia. Yeah.
So I hope this really will help the students who are
Mhm.
confused just like me. So basically, in our institute, we are having the system of BTP and honors. So the
Mm.
bachelor thesis project or honors. So students can choose between them. Sir,
Mhm.
can you elaborate between the process of these two systems and how should a student choose between this?
So first, it's actually straightforward
Hmm.
depending on your interest. If
Hmm.
let's say you plan to go for higher studies,
Hmm.
then any day honors is much better.
Hmm.
Anyway, I will always recommend students to go for honors,
Hmm.
because that is the thing where you can do some research as well.
Hmm.
That is
Hmm.
important.
Hmm.
But let's say somehow you want to go for placements right now. You don't
Hmm.
want to go for higher studies
Hmm.
immediately after your
Hmm.
bachelor's.
Hmm.
You can go for BTP.
Hmm.
And here what happens, the most of the projects, they are related to development part.
Hmm. Hmm.
There is not much research in that.
Hmm.
Even if you are working on research,
Hmm.
then also you need to work on one module, development of one module.
Hmm.
So technically you are working on some development
Hmm.
thing
Hmm.
only. Okay. So this is the difference. And now, as I said, if you want to go for placements, better to go for BTP, where you will be working in a group of three. So three students will be there. Technically, right now it is three. It can be it can change depending on the number of students later. But till now, till this batch, it was three, and these students they work under one faculty, and depending on the interest of the faculty, they can work on one particular problem. Let's say on a particular project. It can be related to artificial intelligence, machine learning, cyber security. So, and this is for 2 semesters, sixth semester and seventh semester. So this is how BTP works. Now coming to the honors one, this is a completely 2 years program. After second year it starts, and depending on the student's interest, as I mentioned, if the student wants to go for higher studies, they need to decide which domain they want to work on. Let's say someone wants to work in artificial intelligence, they can go and discuss with the faculties working in that domain, okay, to finalize things. Otherwise, if they are working in cyber security, they can go to, like me, they can come, of course, to discuss. And it will be for 2 years. Only thing is that they need to publish a paper out of that. So 2 years they need to work, and based on that, they need to publish a paper. If they don't publish a paper, at least one paper, then they are not eligible for honors degree. They will not get the honors degree. They will get a simple plain vanilla BTP B.Tech degree. If they are able to publish the paper, then of course they will get the honors. So this is the difference between it. So if I summarize, honors is inclined towards the research part. BTP is inclined towards the development part. Yes, right.
So now we would like to move on to the next portion, that is a student question round. So we had collected some questions from the students and they want to ask some questions to you.
Okay.
So Piyush Singh from UG2 asked, what are the limitations of AI in cybersecurity, and where do human analysts still play a crucial role in threat detection and response? How do you see AI evolving in the context of offensive cybersecurity tactics such as automated malware generation and evasion techniques?
Yes. So now I think there are two parts to this question. First one, why can't we? So how AI help us to detect attacks, or if AI cannot help, why do we need human intervention? So the thing is, this we call as anomaly detection using machine learning approaches in cybersecurity. A lot of papers are published every year. Papers are being published on this, but the problem is lot of false positives are there. False alarms are there. Sometimes there is no attack, but again at the same time, the algorithm says that there is some attack going on. Sometimes even if the attack is there, the algorithm says that there is no attack. So there are ways through which hackers they can evade this approach. They can simply dodge the complete approach because there is no intuition, as I mentioned. So for that, at the end anyway, human intervention is needed. If you see even the most popular solutions also, what they do, they raise the alarm, and then it's up to the network administrator what to do after that. If you want to blacklist that IP address, or if you want to decide, okay, no, this is not a problem, this is genuine traffic, there is nothing wrong with this. So it depends on the human at the end. So human intervention is anyway needed because of this intuition that AI cannot provide. Now coming to the second part, generating automated tools or malwares. So yes, a lot of techniques are there through which we can generate these malwares, and it's easy for us to generate different categories through which we can bypass the known detection techniques, like your antiviruses are there that we use nowadays. So they can be bypassed using that, because the new malwares, their signature is not known to them, and if signature is not known, that means that it is completely new. So they will not be able to detect that, they won't raise any alarm, and it goes completely under the radar.
True.
So that is how AI can be used.
So moving on to the next question, Aditya Pal from UG2 asked, why do you need attendance policy in college?
Okay.
Won't there be better placements if students are allowed to study on their own from YouTube and given more free time to pursue their own interests?
So I think that is the most popular question that I keep on getting, not only in UG2 but UG4 as well, when they were in UG2 or UG3. So this is very common question. Yeah. So yes, I don't believe in attendance policy anyway. I don't think that is that should be there. But the thing is, let's say we have a group of we have a section of 100 students, assuming we have, let's say, 100 students, out of which very few students will be there who are interested in reality.
True.
So for them that is not a problem, attendance is not an issue, but there are most of the students they don't want to study. That is true. That is the thing. So we cannot say that, okay, there is no attendance
Hmm.
policy. You need not come to, classes. You can study from your own. But that is a problem. They won't do that.
Hmm.
So just to create this discipline, this attendance policy
Hmm.
is there.
Hmm.
And coming to the second part, studying from YouTube, as I mentioned, the textbooks and the interaction with the faculty, that cannot be, removed directly. Okay, no, nothing can replace that. You need interaction with the faculties, and you need to study textbooks. Of course, YouTube videos can help you out, because when you talk about one particular topic, you can refer to the videos,
Hmm.
right? It makes things easier.
Hmm.
They can tell you, okay, this is how things work.
Hmm.
It will simplify the
Hmm.
things. But when you talk about complete course or something, then
Hmm.
textbooks are important,
Hmm.
and the interaction with the faculty is very much
True.
important.
True.
So that is required.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I hope that answers the question.
Mhm.
And moving on to the next question, Himanshu Saraswat from UG2 asked, what do you think about meditation and how does meditation help in focus and increase productivity?
So uh, I don't think I am the correct person to answer this
Hmm.
question, because I don't have this
Hmm.
tendency of doing meditation.
Hmm.
But yes, it helps a lot. I have
Hmm.
seen people, and
Hmm.
with dramatic change in their
Hmm.
life after
Hmm.
doing meditation.
Hmm.
And I know personally of some
Hmm.
of the
Hmm.
those some of my relatives, some
Hmm.
of my colleagues I have
Hmm.
seen earlier,
Hmm.
not only in India but also when I was in Germany. I
Hmm.
have seen a few colleagues of mine.
Hmm.
They were not from India.
Hmm.
One of them was from Russia,
Hmm.
and he mentioned that his life is changed just because of meditation.
Hmm.
So that is very effective thing.
Hmm.
Everyone should do. I
Hmm.
also try to
Hmm.
include this in my daily
Hmm.
routine.
Hmm.
But somehow I try to do this.
Hmm.
Even if I'm not able to do that, I
Hmm.
try to do yoga. I try to do
Hmm.
stretching. I
Hmm.
try to play
Hmm.
some
Hmm.
games. But yes, meditation is very
Hmm.
important. I believe that that is the most important thing that we see today.
True.
That is very much needed for, irrespective of your age.
Hmm.
Basically, it is useful for everyone.
Hmm. True.
So that's what I believe. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. So now moving on to the final part of our today's podcast, there's the most awaited rapid fire round. So we
Okay.
have compiled a set of interesting questions asked by
Mhm.
different students, and we will be presenting that. So first thing is that if you could eat only one food for the rest of your life, what would
Mhm.
it be?
I think millets
Okay.
is the one option.
Nice.
I think, yeah,
Yes.
it helps me to
Hmm.
be light whole
Hmm.
day.
Hmm.
So I
Hmm.
think that is
True.
one thing. Yeah.
If your life had a theme song, what would be?
मैं जिंदगी का साथ निभाता चला गया.
Nice. Um, what is the most useless talent you have?
Uh, Cracking poor jokes sometimes.
Okay.
I believe in serious situations. Yeah.
That's a really nice thing. Uh, if you could swap lives with a fictional character for a day, whom would be and why?
Okay. I think I would answer Iron Man.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're a fan of Iron Man?
Yes. Yes. Iron
Nice.
Man as well as Robert Downey. Both.
Okay,
Yeah.
nice. What is the funniest nickname you ever had?
Nick is my
Yes.
most common
Hmm.
nickname given to me,
Hmm.
just because of Nikhil.
Haha,
Yeah.
Nikhil. True. What is the best thing about the foreign education system that India does not have?
More focus on the practical things.
Hmm.
They want to understand how things actually work
Hmm.
instead of just a
Hmm.
theoretical discussion.
Hmm.
Like working in labs
Hmm.
along with mechanics.
Hmm.
So this is what I have seen in Germany. At least I'm
Hmm.
not sure about other countries, but
Hmm.
this is what I have seen there.
Hmm.
From schooling itself, they start working in
Hmm.
working the plumbers with the
Hmm.
mechanics. So they understand everything.
Hmm.
They
Hmm.
do by their own. Everything they
Hmm.
do by
True.
themselves. So
True.
that is the one thing that
Hmm.
I usually see there that is not here.
Now, on the contrary, what is the best thing about Indian education system that
Mhm.
is not there abroad?
This is a difficult question. I don't. I think I'm not able to answer that right now.
Okay, sure.
So I don't find anything that
Hmm.
that is missing
Hmm.
there, but it is present here.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Sure. What is your stress buster?
So when in those cases, what I do, I usually ride my bike. So
Okay.
yes, riding bike is my
Hmm.
the best part of my
Hmm.
life.
Hmm.
Actually, this is
Hmm.
what I believe.
True.
Yeah,
What is your favorite programming language?
Python.
Python, obviously.
Yeah.
What is your favorite aspect of working with students at IIIT Sri City?
So I think learning is the favorite aspect.
Hmm.
I will tell you why. Because I have seen, when I work with my BTP students,
Hmm.
for example,
Hmm.
I see a lot of shortcuts they use.
Hmm.
they try to do all things immediately.
Huh.
But that is the thing I want to understand. Okay, how do you find these shortcuts, and you can do things immediately?
Mhm.
This is what I want to learn. I am learning from them.
True.
It takes some time for me to do those
Mm.
things, but they can do it immediately.
Yes, this is
That is the
really
thing.
inspiring, that
Yeah, yeah.
continuous learning even
Yes,
at
yes, yeah,
the
yeah.
age. One piece of advice you wish you had received when you were a student.
So, okay, what I think is, I should have known this, how to accept your failure and learn from it.
Mm.
That at that time I used to just think of this as a sentence:
Mm.
accept the mistake and learn from it.
Mhm.
But now, when I, as a faculty,
Mm.
I am employed here, this is
Mm.
what I understand.
Mm.
You should really,
Mm.
you should be able to accept your
True.
mistake,
True.
and not only accept, learn from it, what things you did wrong, and then based
Mm.
on that you try to come up with better things after that.
True.
Yeah.
So, what is the most memorable placement success story that you have ever encountered?
So there are a few of them. So one is like, if I can recall correctly, there was one student, I think, last year.
Mm.
He came to me, discussed personally that somehow he's not getting placed, and
Mm.
he was a good pointer actually. He was
Mm.
having a good CGPA,
Mm.
but somehow he was not able to get placed.
Mm.
And then one day, he came to me saying that, he got placed, and it was an excellent CTC.
Mm.
So I will not reveal the
Mm.
numbers and the name of
Mm.
the student and the company, but yes, it was an excellent. He got a good offer
Mm.
actually, and it was off campus, by the way.
Mm.
It was not on campus.
Mm.
He couldn't
Mm.
get placed here on
Mm.
campus. But what he said that, it is just because of the discussion that I had with you
Mm.
personally on that day.
Mm.
He even
Mm.
remember the date on which we had
Mm.
that discussion.
True.
So he said that, he got this offer
Mm.
just getting motivated after that discussion. So that thing is one, where we didn't help him
Mm.
to find a job, because
Mm.
anyway he couldn't get a job here.
Mm.
But that was still, memorable to me. That
True.
was a good thing to me. Yeah,
That is really inspiring. The
yeah,
live interaction with the faculty
yeah,
members
yeah,
can really help
yeah,
students
yeah,
in understanding the
yeah, yeah.
things. And what is the biggest misconceptions the student have about the job market?
So yes, I think this is the best time to answer
Mm.
that,
Mm.
because this year,
Mm.
what students were doing, they were expecting a lot from the market.
Mm.
So what I will say, don't expect a lot from the
Mm.
market.
Mm.
Try to brush yourself, try
Mm.
to brush your skills and
Mm.
knowledge, and then based on that, try to find out what is best for you.
Mm.
So that is what I believe. So don't expect too much from the
Mm.
market. Markets can go up, markets can go
Mm.
down.
Mm.
You don't know that. What you need to do is, you need to just work on your skills. That is
True.
the only thing that is
True.
there. Yeah.
What is the one skill that every student should develop before graduating?
So as I mentioned, this is,
Mm.
when I was a student, I should have known this:
Mm.
accept the mistake and learn from it.
Mm.
So this is
True.
the thing that I
Mm.
I believe everyone should know this.
Mm.
Yeah, everyone
True.
should try to implement this in their life.
How
Yeah.
would you define IIIT Sri City in one word?
Okay. In one word, if I will say, learning, I guess, because this is the
True.
most important thing that I am doing
Mm.
right now here.
Mm. True.
So that's why learning. Yeah.
Thank you, sir, for such an amazing
Thank you.
conversation. It
Thank
was
you very
really a
much.
great time.
It was my
Uh,
pleasure to join you here, and it's really important for me to discuss my thoughts
mm.
with you, with the whole student cell,
Mm.
and so thank you very much for that. Thank
Thank
you.
you, sir, for
Yeah,
coming. Thank you, sir.
pleasure.
It was really an amazing afternoon that we spent with sir today. I hope that you learned a lot from this podcast and definitely would apply these learnings in your life. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.